actually. Mark Diaz has a good speech about that. He has a cool TED talk that has 200,000 views. Yeah, about like if it's your genius that you should just if you keep doing something that doesn't look like you're doing well, it looks like you have no talent, should you just give up and find what you actually have talent, or should you just keep going and build little steps and eventually because so he talked about Mozart, even though people say he's a genius when he was 6, he already had what 3,500 hours of playing time. So yeah, if you practice 3,500 hours, you might be as good as Mozart when he's 6 years old. And so, and if you haven't, you can't really complain that, oh, it's like, oh, I played for like 100 hours and I'm not as good as Mozart when he's 6, right? No, that doesn't make sense.
So are you saying it's not the CD1 aspect and CD3 isn't really there? In other words, the idea of, again, I understand what you're saying about the thing. I think in the beginning, he just talks about that's how he and his friends approach it. But the CD2 and CD8, is that exclusive to everything else?
So
is there CD1 and CD3?
I totally don't think there's CD1. Okay, so there is CD1 if the goal is CD1 driven. Okay, obviously.
No,
maybe
I'm
obviously,
saying CD1 being your personal self-improvement.
Yeah, so this is something that people like to bring up a lot, and I can see why people think that way. I would say in 99% of the cases, you wanting to improve yourself and become a better person is definitely more CD2 and even CD4 and improving your life. And sometimes earning the respect of others than CD1. CD1 by definition it's something bigger than yourself, right? So improving yourself is often not the case. Now, it would be the case if you feel like now you are entering your calling, like I was born or created to do this thing and I'm going to sacrifice my life to do this now. Then yeah, there is that CD1, but most people's what they think is CD1 is not CD1. But very few people actually are in that state. They just feel like, yeah, I feel good, I'm improving, I'm getting better, I'm being, I'm becoming a better person, and that's usually not CD1. And then from his examples, they're actually CD3. So I just want to make it clear where this definition itself is about extrinsic. It says, hey, if you focus on the goal, which is purely extrinsic, and not focus on the loss, which is loss and avoidance, then you don't worry about, then you can push forward more, right? Goal driven. Now, his examples is important because there is that CD3, because he also talks, it's not this definition, it's not saving the princess, but and maybe that's the real Super Mario effect, which is the problem solving, trying to solve the problem makes you not worry about so if you don't worry about the penalty, then you think about how to solve this problem, right? Just like these examples, he talks about the dartboard he created. So this is a dartboard that wherever you throw, it will go to that place and catch it. So you're always getting like a perfect red zone. And he said he failed again and again and again and again and again. He tried so much. And then after like, I think 2-3 years, he finally built it, right? And he says, yeah, I didn't focus on my failures. I focused on the goal. But what I really think it is that it's intrinsically enjoyable to do trial and error, to figure out, to problem solve. That's what's engaging. Also like the challenge, the game that we just talked about, the solving the challenge, many people try, like there's no reward, right? There's no goal per se, but people want to beat that challenge. I can't find it anymore. There's no reward. It's not about hitting the goal as much as it is about, hey, let's see how I can solve this problem. So I think that just like I said, Super Mario, it's not about saving the princess. It's really about how to figure out how to overcome all your obstacles, right? You jump over this, get the mushroom, and it's about problem solving. It's about empowerment, like your style of play and all that stuff. So that's why the Super Mario effect, I think, probably is CD3, CD2 and 3, and the removal of CD8. But then the definition of it, I think, is not the best, or his definition of it.
What do you mean? How is it? How do you see it in terms of the CD3? Like I understand the CD2 and CD8
All right,
as two
so
opposite sides of the coin. I understand, but
so it's maybe I would change this, shifting the focus on falling to pits to solving problems, becoming more awesome, right? So it's playing the game that motivates you. So if you focus on playing the game and having fun and learning, that's intrinsically enjoyable, then you don't worry about the failing. But it's not about beating the game. Again, when you play Super Mario, it's not about beating the game. And again, there's I have not met people who said, I hate Super Mario. I had a terrible time, I had an agonizing time playing Super Mario Effect or the Super Mario game because I never beat it. It was like a scar in my life. Like no one has said that. People said, yeah, I never beat it, but I had so much time. It's one of the highlights of my childhood because it's intrinsically enjoyable that you're just playing it. It's not because you reached the goal.
So basically learning between CD3 and CD2 and CD3, it's focusing on the learning, what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, so CD2 is results oriented, CD3 is experience oriented. By fumbling over things, by like play with clay and whatnot, right? You feel CD3, the process itself is engaging, and it's also you're exerting your soul into this thing, and what your uniqueness will make a difference on how this comes out. That's engaging, and you don't need results. Now, of course, if you use a lot of CD3 and then you achieve the goal, or people are like, wow, that's amazing, then there's a high level of CD2 and 5 that is an offshoot of that CD3. But you don't necessarily need that to enjoy the CD3.
Incredible. Thank you. Really
Oh,
worth the wait.
oh, thank you for using that very, very positive word.